High Scholar Zixtal adjusted her sensory appendages as another burst of sound and color erupted from the monitoring station. The humans were at it again, engaging in what they called professional wrestling. She still couldn't quite comprehend why a supposedly peaceful species would dedicate so much energy to watching elaborately costumed individuals perform such complex maneuvers against each other. "Fascinating," she murmured, her crystalline form reflecting the vibrant display. They've turned combat into performance art, yet they claim to have no warrior traditions. The Galactic Council's exploration vessel had been observing Earth for 3 standard cycles now, intercepting their entertainment broadcasts to understand the species better before making first contact. What they found consistently puzzled the multi-species research team. High Scholar, her assistant Creeks called out, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. "You must observe this new transmission. The humans call it MasterChef." Zixtal glided over to his station, expecting to learn about the species' nutrition protocols. Instead, she watched in amazement as humans frantically competed against each other using thermal energy manipulation devices and blade implements, all while a stern-faced elder berated their techniques. They'd weaponized food preparation, she noted in her research log. Yet they insist this is entertainment. Across the observation deck, other researchers were similarly engrossed in Earth's broadcasts. Junior Scholar Plynn was attempting to understand something called parkour, where humans defied gravity and logic by leaping between structures with inexplicable precision. Research Assistant Ven was analyzing balletti, trying to determine how humans had developed such elaborate movement patterns that seemed to serve no practical purpose yet required physical perfection. "High Scholar," the ship's computer interrupted. "I've completed the analysis of their global information network. Humans spend approximately 33% of their leisure time engaged in competitive activities they call games and sports." Zixtal's crystalline structure sparkled with interest. Display findings. The holographic display filled with images. Humans chasing balls across fields, others moving miniature effigies across checkered boards with intense concentration, groups gathered around tables rolling numbered cubes, and millions watching others manipulate electronic entertainment systems. "Their entire culture seems built around simulated conflict," Creeks observed. "Yet our scans show no significant military installations, no warrior caste, no combat training centers. Perhaps," Zixtal mused, "they simply channel their competitive instincts into these elaborate displays. It's quite elegant, really. They've taken any aggressive tendencies and transformed them into entertainment and art." The research team continued their observation as a new transmission began, something called the Olympics. Humans from all over their world gathered to engage in highly specific physical challenges, running in circles, throwing objects, lifting weights, and launching themselves into the air using flexible poles. "Add this to the first contact briefing," Zixtal instructed. "The humans appear to be a culture dedicated to transforming every possible physical activity into a form of peaceful competition. They should integrate well with the galactic community." As she finished her log entry, a small alert caught her attention. A human entertainment form called Esports had just begun broadcasting. She settled in to watch, unaware that she was observing the galaxy's most sophisticated combat simulation program, disguised as a simple game called StarCraft. Dr. Mira Seven's tendrils curled in confusion as she watched a group of human children chase each other around the diplomatic quarters garden. "Tag, you're it," they shouted, their movements precise and unpredictable. She noted how they instinctively used cover, changed directions unexpectedly, and worked together to corner their targets. "Fascinating social behavior, isn't it?" Ambassador Chen smiled, approaching the young Centaurian anthropologist. "Would you like to join their game?" "Perhaps later," Mira 7 replied, her scientific tendrils waving with curiosity. "I'm still trying to understand why human children spend so much time practicing evasion and pursuit tactics." The ambassador laughed. "Oh, they're just playing. It's how they learn to socialize." Across the garden, The Galactic Council's newly established Cultural Exchange Center was hosting its first movie night. Dozens of alien diplomats gathered to watch something humans called a heist film, which seemed to be an oddly specific simulation of infiltration strategies. High Scholar Zixtal, who had recommended humanity's admission to the council, sat in the front row. Her crystalline form refracted the screen's light as she took notes on how the humans appeared to treat complex security bypass scenarios as casual entertainment. The ingenuity of their storytelling is remarkable, she whispered to Mira 7, who had joined her for the screening. Though I wonder why so many of their films involve elaborate planning sequences. In another wing of the diplomatic quarter, a human teenager was teaching a group of Arcturian younglings how to play Capture the Flag. Mira 7 paused her film viewing to observe as the simple game demonstrated remarkable parallels to territorial defense strategies. Your species has such entertaining ways to pass time, an Arcturian parent commented to the human teen. Yeah, we've been playing these games forever, the teenager replied, showing them how to split into teams. My grandpa says they're even more fun with something called paintball, but that's not allowed in the diplomatic quarter. Later that evening, during the council's first human-hosted diplomatic dinner, Mira 7 found herself drawn to a peculiar scene. A group of human diplomats had set up what they called a board game night. The game in question, Risk, involved dividing and conquering an entire planet through careful resource management and strategic positioning. Just a bit of friendly competition, one human diplomat explained, while masterfully executing a perfect pincer movement with his game pieces. Mira 7's research notes grew longer by the hour. Humans transform everything into competition. Children's games mirror military drills. Entertainment simulates tactical scenarios. Even their dining customs involve strategic deployment of multiple implements of food acquisition. They call them utensils. As the evening wound down, she observed a human child teaching an alien friend something called chess. The knight moves in an L shape, the child explained patiently. Like how you'd want to outflank someone who can only move straight ahead. And this is considered a basic children's game? Mira 7 asked, her tendrils twitching with sudden insight. Oh sure, the child nodded. Wait until I show you Dungeons and Dragons. It's all about resource management, team tactics, and adapting to unexpected scenarios. Mira 7 added one final note before retiring for the evening. Query: are humans genuinely unaware of the military applications of their recreational activities, or is their entire culture an elaborate combat training program hiding in plain sight? She had no way of knowing that her casual observation would soon prove prophetic. Dr. Mira 7's research lab aboard the Galactic Council station had transformed into what her colleagues jokingly called the Human Entertainment Archive. Holoscreens displayed endless loops of human activities, from cooking shows to video game competitions, while her walls were covered in connecting threads of light, linking seemingly unrelated human pastimes. Computer, replay the parkour demonstration from yesterday, she instructed, her tendrils moving thoughtfully as she watched humans efficiently navigate complex urban environments. Now overlay the standard military urban navigation protocols. The patterns matched perfectly. A gentle chime announced High Scholar Zixtal's arrival. The crystalline being's form sparkled with amusement at the chaos of research materials. Still pursuing your theory about human recreational activities? Zixtal asked, examining a paused image of something called American Ninja Warrior. Look at this, Mira 7 gestured excitedly. These obstacle course shows perfectly mirror advanced training scenarios. And here, she switched displays to a cooking competition. These chef challenges are exactly like field resource management exercises. An interesting correlation, Zixtal admitted, but surely. And that's just the beginning. Mira 7's tendrils whirled with excitement as she pulled up a new display. Have you seen this human game Minecraft? Children spend hours building elaborate structures and managing resources. It's literally engineering and logistics training disguised as entertainment. The breakthrough had come to her while watching human children play during their recess period at the diplomatic quarters school. Every game, from hide and seek to red light, green light, taught crucial military skills: stealth, situational awareness, quick decision-making, and rapid response to commands. Remember the paint night event last week? Mira 7 continued, pulling up images of aliens and humans creating art together. I realized the humans were training hand-eye coordination and precision muscle control. Even their art is combat training. Zixtal's crystalline form shimmered skeptically. Aren't you perhaps seeing patterns where none exist? That's what I thought too, until I found this. Mira 7 displayed an ancient human text, The Art of War. Their oldest military manual explicitly states that excellence in warfare requires making it part of everyday life. They'd been doing this for millennia. She brought up more examples: dance competitions that perfectly matched close-quarters maneuvering, racing games that trained piloting skills, and puzzle games that mirrored code-breaking exercises. And now they've introduced the galaxy to paintball as a weekend activity, Mira 7 noted, showing footage of the increasingly popular human sport. They're literally teaching us their combat techniques, and we're treating it as entertainment. Before Zixtal could respond, an alert flashed across the screens. A human gaming tournament was starting in the recreation sector. Come with me, Mira 7 insisted. Watch how their pro gamers display perfect strategic awareness, resource management, and battlefield control, all while everyone thinks they're just playing games. As they headed to the recreation sector, Mira 7's final research note of the day blinked on her screen. Hypothesis: humans haven't abandoned their warrior nature. They've perfected it by making every aspect of their culture a form of combat training. The question remains, do they do this consciously, or has it become so ingrained they no longer realize it themselves? The answer would come sooner than anyone expected. The Galactic Council's emergency alert system shattered the usual calm of the diplomatic quarter. The Void Swarm, an unknown species from the outer reaches, had just decimated the Council's third defense fleet without warning or negotiation. Dr. Mira 7 noticed something odd. While other species rushed to emergency stations in panic, the humans were calmly gathering in their recreational areas. Shouldn't you be preparing for potential evacuation? She asked Ambassador Chen, who was setting up a board game called Risk with several other humans. Oh, we're just having a game night to stay sharp. Chen smiled, arranging little plastic armies across the board. Would you like to join? We're also setting up StarCraft tournaments in the next room. Across the diplomatic quarter, humans organized themselves with eerily casual efficiency. The garden area had been transformed into what they called a laser tag arena for entertainment purposes. The cafeteria hosted Counter-Strike tournaments on portable gaming devices. Even the children seemed involved, playing elaborate games of Capture the Flag with new, oddly specific rules. High Scholar Zixtal found Mira 7 observing a group of humans engaged in what they called speed running practice. The Council's defensive simulations have failed against the Void Swarm's tactics, Zixtal reported, her crystalline form dulled with worry. No known combat doctrine seems effective. Look at this, Mira 7's tendrils gestured toward the humans. They're optimizing movement patterns, discovering exploitable paths, and sharing strategies, just like they would need to. She trailed off as a human child approached them, clutching a gaming device. Want to play among us? The child asked brightly. It's about finding hidden threats while maintaining critical systems. Super fun. Mira 7's research tendrils curled in sudden understanding. How long have humans been playing this game? Oh, forever. We have lots of games like that. Mama says it helps develop situational awareness. Later that evening, during the Council's emergency session, Mira 7 couldn't help but notice how the human representatives seemed the least concerned about the Void Swarm crisis. Instead, they focused on organizing what they called an Olympic Games for the diplomatic quarter. In times of stress, one human diplomat explained, It's important to maintain morale through friendly competition. But Mira 7 saw how their proposed Olympic events perfectly mirrored military drills: archery for precision targeting, swimming for aquatic operations, gymnastics for zero-gravity adaptation, and track and field for tactical movement. Why do aliens only practice fighting when there's war? A human child's question from weeks ago echoed in her mind as she watched humans efficiently organize their recreational activities across the station. In her quarters that night, Mira 7 added a crucial observation to her research notes. Humans don't prepare for war when threatened. They maintain constant readiness through elaborate games and sports. While the Council scrambles to develop combat strategies, humans are already practicing them under the guise of entertainment. The question isn't whether they're ready for conflict. It's whether they've ever stopped preparing for it. As she finished her note, an alert pinged. The humans were organizing a station-wide paintball tournament to boost morale. The registration form looked suspiciously like a military unit organization chart. The Void Swarm had no idea what they'd just awakened. The Galactic Council's emergency chamber hummed with tense energy as species representatives argued about military preparations. The Void Swarm had just consumed another defense fleet, and panic was setting in. Only the human delegation seemed oddly relaxed. Ambassador Chen had set up a chessboard right in the middle of the chamber and was playing against another human diplomat, both completely focused on their game. This is hardly the time for games. The Regelian ambassador's translator crackled with indignation. Chen moved his knight and smiled. On the contrary, Ambassador, watch this mash carefully. In fact, computer, please display the Void Swarm's last 3 attack patterns alongside our current game. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the chess game next to the Void Swarm's fleet movements. The room fell silent as the patterns aligned perfectly. Impossible, High Scholar Zixtal whispered, her crystalline form vibrating with shock. Not impossible, Dr. Mira 7's tendrils waved excitedly. I've been trying to tell you. Everything humans do is military training. Ambassador Chen stood, his casual demeanor unchanged. Would you like to know why we humans spend so much time playing games? Our chess grandmasters aren't just players. They're tactical geniuses who've spent decades mastering strategic warfare through what you thought was just a board game. Around the chamber, other human diplomats began activating displays showing their various entertainment activities. A live feed from the diplomatic quarter showed humans organizing their game night with military precision. Remember those streamers you found so amusing? A human cultural attaché gestured to footage of professional gamers. They'd spent years mastering drone warfare scenarios through video games. Our Parker enthusiasts. Zero-gravity combat specialists. Those cooking shows you love. Advanced resource management training. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as humans demonstrated how their Marvel movie marathons were actually complex tactical scenario training. Their Twitter debates were information warfare exercises, and their speed running communities were efficiency optimization units. Dr. Mira 7 stepped forward, her research projections filling the air. They've been showing us this all along. Every human activity serves multiple purposes. Their entire culture is a sophisticated combat preparation system disguised as entertainment. But why hide it? The Arcturian elder's question echoed through the chamber. Ambassador Chen's smile widened. We didn't hide anything. We literally broadcast our training across the galaxy as entertainment. You all watched our war games and thought they were just fun and games. We simply found a way to maintain constant military readiness while enjoying ourselves. He moved another chess piece, perfectly predicting the Void Swarm's next likely move pattern. Humans don't separate military preparation from daily life, Chen explained. We integrate it into everything we do. Our children learn squad tactics through playground games. Our athletes master combat maneuvers through sports. Our gamers practice warfare scenarios for fun. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't hidden their warrior nature. They'd elevated it to an art form and shared it openly with the galaxy. Now then, Chen gestured to the concerned council members, who would like to learn how to play StarCraft. I believe the Void Swarm's attack patterns would be perfect for a Zerg rush strategy. The transformation of the Galactic Council Station happened so smoothly that most species barely noticed it happening. The Human Recreational Center, once filled with casual gamers, now hummed with tactical operations as esports champions, coordinated drone squadrons with the same precision they once used for tournament play. It's fascinating, Dr. Mira 7 noted in her research log as she watched a group of human speedrunners optimize station defense protocols. They didn't need to learn new skills. They simply applied what they'd been practicing all along. In the station's larger spaces, parkour enthusiasts who once entertained crowds with acrobatic displays now trained other species in zero-gravity combat movement. Their years of calculating jumps, rolls, and wall runs translated perfectly to space station defense tactics. You're overthinking it. A human instructor encouraged a Centaurian trainee. Remember how we played the floor is lava last week? Same principle, just with actual low-gravity conditions. Ambassador Chen had transformed the diplomatic dining hall into what he called a logistics command center, though it looked suspiciously like one of their cooking competition shows. Former chef contestants managed resource allocation with the same efficiency they once used to coordinate kitchen stations. Time management is time management. A human chef-turned-quartermaster explained while efficiently organizing supply lines. Whether you're plating a 5-course meal or coordinating fleet supplies, it's all about workflow optimization. In the communications sector, human social media influencers seamlessly transitioned into information warfare specialists. Their experience in managing online communities and trending topics proved invaluable for coordinating intelligence networks. Honestly, dealing with the Void Swarm's propaganda is easier than managing a viral Twitter thread, one analyst remarked while coordinating information flows across multiple sectors. Dr. Mira 7 found High Scholar Zixtel observing a particularly interesting transformation in the entertainment sector. A group of professional dancers was teaching zero-gravity maneuver sequences to fighter pilots. The principles of choreography apply perfectly to fleet movements, the dance instructor explained, using holographic displays to demonstrate complex patterns. It's all about timing, spatial awareness, and coordinated group movement. Even the station's children were involved, their playground games evolving into practical applications. Their experience with Among Us and other social deduction games made them surprisingly effective at detecting infiltration attempts. Remember how we spot imposters in the game? A young human explained to alien security forces, same rules apply. Watch for behavioral patterns that don't match expected norms. The station's gaming lounges had transformed into simulation centers, with professional gamers running complex battle scenarios using modified versions of their favorite titles. Strategy game champions coordinated fleet movements with the same precision they once used for StarCraft tournaments. The victory conditions are pretty much the same, a former esports champion explained while directing a defensive operation. Resource management, unit positioning, tech advancement. We've been practicing this for years. In her latest research update, Dr. Mira 7 added a crucial observation. Humanity's greatest strategic achievement wasn't developing advanced military technology or tactics. It was making military training so enjoyable that their entire species willingly participated in it as entertainment. They didn't just maintain readiness. They elevated it to an art form. As she finished her notes, an alert sounded. The Void Swarm had been detected approaching the station. On the command deck, Ambassador Chen smiled as he watched his people seamlessly shift from play to purpose. Well, he announced to the amazed council representatives, shall we show them how humans play to win? Dr. Mira 7's research center had become the unofficial hub for understanding humanity's remarkable transformation. Alien diplomats and military officials crowded around her displays as she explained yet another layer of human preparation discovered in their entertainment. Look at how they've used their streaming services for tactical analysis, she explained, her tendrils gesturing at footage of humans binge-watching various shows. They claim it's for entertainment, but they're actually training themselves to process and analyze vast amounts of information quickly. Ambassador Chen, who had stopped by to check on the growing audience, nodded approvingly. Have you told them about speedrunning yet? The gathered aliens watched in fascination as humans demonstrated how years of optimizing video game completion times had prepared them for combat efficiency. Every movement was calculated, every resource usage optimized, every strategy refined through thousands of repetitions. But that's just the surface. Mira 7 continued excitedly. Their holidays, their celebrations, they're all military exercises in disguise. She brought up footage of various human celebrations, Halloween, training in stealth operations, and disguise, Easter egg hunts, search and rescue protocols, Black Friday shopping, crowd control and resource competition, birthday party games, team building and tactical planning, hide and seek, stealth and tracking training. Even their theme parks, Mira 7 explained, showing footage of roller coasters and virtual reality rides, are actually G-Force training and spatial awareness exercises. In the station's command center, a former professional Dungeons & Dragons player was coordinating defense strategies. Years of being a dungeon master taught me to adapt plans on the fly and manage multiple threats simultaneously, they explained while reorganizing fleet positions. High Scholar Zixtal's crystalline form shimmered with amazement as she watched humans apply their casual hobbies to military situations. They turned warfare preparation into an art form, she mused. Better, Chen corrected. We turned it into entertainment. Why endure boring military drills when you can train through fun? A junior researcher burst into the room with new findings. Human reaction videos had trained them in rapid psychological analysis. Their unboxing videos had perfected logistics documentation, and their DIE tutorials had created a culture of resourceful engineering. Their entire entertainment industry is a combat simulator, Mira 7 realized. Every movie trope, every game mechanic, every social media trend, they're all preparing humans for different aspects of warfare. In the station's recreation area, now a tactical training center, humans were teaching alien allies using familiar games. Portal, physics-based problem-solving. Minecraft, resource management and engineering. Just Dance, coordination and movement training. Tetris, space and resource optimization. Dark Souls, patience and pattern recognition. While we prepared for war through drills and exercises, Dr. Mira 7 noted in her latest research update, humans prepared through play. They didn't separate military training from daily life. They integrated it so seamlessly into their culture that they maintained constant readiness while having fun. As she finished her notes, the station's alert system chimed. The Void Swarm had begun their approach. On every deck, humans calmly switched their entertainment systems to combat mode, ready to demonstrate just how much their fun and games had prepared them for this moment. Ambassador Chen's voice came over the station's comm system. Well, everyone, game time. The Galactic Council Station's observation deck offered a perfect view of what Ambassador Chen called the greatest game humanity had ever played. The Void Swarm's approaching fleet filled the starfield, their biomechanical ships moving in perfect, terrifying synchronization. Interesting pattern, noted a human esports champion, now serving as fleet coordinator. Looks like a standard Zerg rush strategy. We countered this all the time in StarCraft tournaments. Dr. Mira 7 watched in amazement as human gamers coordinated the defense fleet with the same casual expertise they once used for multiplayer matches. Each squadron moved with precision, learned from years of competitive gaming. Blue Team, execute Speedrun Strat 7, called out a commander who, just days ago, had been streaming video games for entertainment. The defending ships responded with a maneuver that looked impossible until you'd seen someone complete Dark Souls without taking damage. In the station's command center, former chess champions predicted and countered the Void Swarm's movements with analytical precision. "They're using a Queen's Gambit approach," one grandmaster observed. "Standard opening, but predictable endgame." High Scholar Zixtal's crystalline form sparkled with astonishment as she watched human parkour experts coordinate zero-gravity rescue operations, their movements fluid and precise from years of recreational practice. "Remember," a human instructor called out to the mixed-species defense teams, "just like in Among Us. Trust your instincts, watch for patterns, and maintain communication." The Void Swarm's first wave met a defense system designed by Minecraft Redstone engineers. Their years of creating complex in-game machines translated perfectly to space warfare. "At least these don't need any crafting tables," one engineer quipped while adjusting the energy matrices. In the communication hub, social media managers turned information warfare experts coordinated intelligence with the same skill they once used to manage trending topics. "Crowd control is crowd control," one noted while directing information flows. "Whether it's Twitter or tactical data, it's all about managing the narrative." The station's former cooking show contestants managed resource distribution with competition-owned efficiency. "Time management under pressure is universal," a chef-turned-logistics officer explained while coordinating supply lines. "Though the stakes are a bit higher than a fallen soufflé." As the battle reached its peak, Dr. Mira 7 noticed something remarkable. The humans were treating the entire engagement like a cooperative multiplayer game. Teams called out positions using gaming terminology, coordinated strategies like raid groups, and even maintained their usual gaming banter. "Just like Friday game night," Chen smiled, watching his species execute complex military maneuvers with the joy of players engaged in their favorite pastime. Though the graphics are better. The Void Swarm, facing an opponent who had spent generations perfecting warfare through play, found themselves outmaneuvered by strategies worn in everything from chess clubs to MO raids. Their perfect formations were countered by humans who had spent countless hours practicing resource management in Factorio, timing in rhythm games, and tactical planning in MOBAs. In her final research note, Dr. Mira 7 wrote, "The secret of humanity's success isn't that they hid their warrior nature, it's that they transformed it. They didn't choose between being warriors or being peaceful. They found a way to be both. In doing so, they became something more, a species that maintains perfect military readiness through the pursuit of joy." Ambassador Chen, watching the Void Swarm retreat before humanity's carefully practiced game strategies, simply smiled. "That was fun," he said, turning to the amazed council representatives. "Now, who's up for a round of Space Team? We should really teach everyone proper crew coordination for next time." The galaxy would never look at human entertainment the same way again.